Alrighty, this program is an explanation, an executable of the program that I just chose to do. My program was supposed to be based on a shopping experience. It starts off with giving you an inventory list. The inventory list is to some nail polishes. It gives you the name of the polish and the pricing for each. Based on your selection, it'll give you a total with a total after that, including the taxes of a 6% tax rate. So this is how it works. This is your selection and options that you have. The first question is make a selection of the number polish you would like, 1 through 4 or 5 to exit. We're going to go ahead just for the purposes of this demonstration to go with number 4, which is the red polish. And now it's going to ask you how many of these polishes do you want. So of number 4, how many would you like to purchase? We will go ahead and say 10. And it gives you a little receipt at the end. The place that I chose, I named it Happy Nails. This is the store where they're purchasing from. The address is not real, so I just went ahead and made it for the purpose of this program. And I did some forward slashes just to do a little division between the store name, address, and the actual receipt. The polish color we chose, which was selection number 4, was red polish. The total that we wanted to purchase was 10, and the total for that is $40. After taxes are added, it's $42.40. And I added a message, please, thank you, please come again. Now at the end, it says press enter key to return to the main menu. So if we press enter, it's simply going to go back and cycle through this program again, giving you a new total for whatever selection you make next. Alrighty, so this will be the explanation of my code. I'd start off with line 1, which is the IO stream. 2, include IO manip. I use this because I will be using Situ in my program to space things out. I also use using namespace. That's just standard. We go into number 5 where it says I am specifying my function prototypes at the top just because I might forget later on in the program. One of them is a display menu function that gets called, a get choice function, and a show fees function as well. I am passing a few things on that show fees, which is a string, a double, an integer, and another double as well. My program starts on line 10 where it gives us the main function. In this main function, I started off by declaring some constants, which is the polish colors and the taxes. I left it as constant, as we learned earlier in this class and the class prior to this. When you use a constant, it's not changed within the program itself. So if we need to make changes to pricing in the future, it's easier to access this way instead of having to go back and try to find every single polish and every time the price was put on there. I also have 2 integers here, choice and quantity, which would be used to take in the client's input. The choice would be their selection, and the quantity, the amount of polishes they would like. I chose to do a do-while function for this program. The first function that I put in here is the display menu because we need to know what they're going to be selecting from. So the display menu is called, and it is on line 46. It starts off by clearing out the screen, and then it outs an inventory list. This inventory list will come with the name of the polish and the price for each. Line 51 starts off with the first polish option they have, which is pink polish. The Situ is just kind of to give it a more of an alignment so they're not all shifted back and forth. It seemed to work for me. And it has the pricing next to it, and it goes on from there. And option number 5 gives them the option to quit this program if they decide they don't want to purchase anything or purchase anything further. So we'd go back up to where this display menu function was called, which was on line 21, and we move on to line 22. We need to get the choice. Now the choice will be taken in the get choice function, which we need to go down to, and it starts on line 60. There will be an integer the client will enter, and that would be their choice. So the question that's being made is make a selection of the number polish you would like, 1 through 4 or 5 to exit. It would take in then their choice that they've made of polish, and while the choice is less than 1, which does not exist, or if the choice is greater than 4, because 5 is to quit this program, it would see out the only available choices are 1 through 4. Please re-enter. And then it would take in that choice after that once they've tried to make their correction if they typed in 6 for whatever reason. And then it will return the choice that we wanted back in the main function. And then we move into a if function that I made within the do while. And it's if the choice is not 5, you would see out how many of these polishes do you want. So now we're trying to get the quantity. And that number is what they entered, is what's going to be stored in our quantity. I did a switch, which was easiest for me. It's easiest for me to understand, and it's going to be based off the choice the person makes. And again, their selections are 1 through 4 because 5 is to quit the program. So it goes down to see which one's the selection they made. If it's 3, it's going to go through case 1, case 2. If it's at 3, it'll break there, but it'll go through show fees function first. So my show fees function does, we scroll back down to line 73 where it starts, and it did pass a string, a double, 2 doubles, and an integer. For me, the way that I was able to do the calculations was for me to also pass the double taxes. I did play around with it for a little bit, trying to get those taxes in there. And this is how it worked for me. I start with the first calculation, which is going to be their total. Now, the total is calculated with all the taxes first. And the way I did that was by multiplying the input the client did, the quantity, and the price, giving me a total amount of the price. But I also want the taxes. So for the calculation for that was the tax here, and it's the total that we just got from this prior calculation times the taxes. Going back to the top where it specifies the taxes that were declared, it was a 6% tax rate. 6 times 100 would give us the 0.06 as a percentage, which is what we're trying to get. So it's the taxes are 0.06. So that's what we pass down here. And so when we're doing the calculation, it's the total times the 0.06 to give us the taxed amount total. I did what I thought would be nice, like a output of a receipt. And I decided to call my store where they're purchasing these polishes from Happy Nails. And I made an address up where the location would be as any receipt. They have the name of the location, address, / to do a little division between that and the actual receipt. And it starts out by outputting the color they chose, the quantity of that color, the total prior to taxes and after taxes. And I just wrote a little comment on here, thank you, please come again. And I see out an empty line. I also see out another message that says press enter key to return to the main menu. By then pressing the enter, it'll just take them back to the beginning of the program to make another purchase. So for the next question that's on this paper, which was the description of my original design, my design was to get a receipt output for the customer needing the program. It was to display a menu and total up the items purchased and give them a total based on a 6% tax rate. The research I did was how to make a menu. This was done through our book. However, when it came to the calculation, I used Google and a lot of plug and play. The setup of the menu I found in one of the pages, and it was kind of just for me to know how to make that output look presentable. And by that, I mean by adding the situs. I remember us doing something like this where I didn't have to keep spacing enough tabs or whatnot calculated to make the program look aligned, but we could use situs for this. As far as the taxes, same thing. I had to figure out the math to add in here. And then it was just plug and play trying to figure out what would work to be able to bring these taxes down. And so what I did was just pass them through the show fees function. Issues that I encountered and how I resolved them. If I could literally take up a whole other video of this, but I'll quickly explain this. I had to figure out what to do on my project on, and then how I could convey that vision into a program that I myself could write, but know how it works as I am doing it, not just a copy and then play with it, but without losing track of what I was planning to do within the program. So I didn't just want to go on the internet and search a way to do this. I wanted to be able to write the program from the back of my hand and know how to explain it, how it goes, if I made a mistake, where to correct it. Um, so, for instance, the show fees, I couldn't add the taxes like I explained. So I had to figure out a way to get them in there without it messing up my program. But I knew where the issue was. It was the taxes. Um, my original plan and how it changed based on my discoveries. I changed it all the way. My initial progress was completely different. Um, I found also researching, but I had no clue how it worked when I first started. So I could not work with it and I couldn't get it to do what I wanted because it wasn't an original program of mine, I guess. Um, but I didn't worry. I just went ahead and started over. I mean, that's just how this works when you code. If it doesn't work, there might be one tiny mistake, but it just wasn't functioning. So I just started over. What had I hoped to complete that I did not? I think what I wanted to add on here was a way to hold more than one selection. So my program runs for one polish, one selection, one quantity. I wanted them to be able to go and purchase 5, 6 different polishes at a time and then give me the total with taxes. I think that um, I could have accomplished that. And I'm thinking if I had done maybe like an array to hold all these entries, I couldn't figure it out. And honestly, I'm down to the last days of doing this. So I think I cut myself short on this, but I am still happy with the way it functions as this is what I wanted. The only thing missing is giving them the ability to enter more to their cart, as to say. How could the program be enhanced? Oh, well, being that I'm basing it on a store purchase, I'm sure there's a variety, starting with the menu, giving me more polishes. We could add more items. It doesn't just have to be polishes, it could be used for any kind of inventory. Um, Also, as far as the pricings go, I'm sure we could play with those numbers too, instead of just these plain numbers that we have. Um, and as far as anything else that I'd wish to share, um, that I am hoping that what I learned in this class I can take and further it in the industry once I get a job. I'm sure at this time, as we are stepping into this world, some things are not clear yet. They will come easier with time, as many coders have told me. I'm just proud of myself for what not even I had fated myself to do. But now looking at what I completed and my program, I'm very happy with it.